Hello, what's going on, guys? I am the CHALL and welcome back to another video. Now today is a Doncaster Rovers football news update where this article in the Free Press has been out for a few days now, and I feel like now's the time I want to talk about player contracts. And there's an article about player contracts. I'm going to share all the stats and the the speech from Darren Moore about player contracts at the minute, and also I'm going to share my thoughts on a specific number of players that I think could either stay or go from Rovers. Now, before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe for more football and basketball videos. That's the main coverage on this channel. The NBA, the Premier League, the Champions League, Europa League, the EFL, football and basketball combined, including the Olympics. And for now, guys, let's get into this video. So, let's have a look at the Free Press article from a few days ago to discuss Darren Moore and the whole player contract situation and what is happening. So, the Doncaster Free Press article states that Rovers will see 14 players reach the end of their deals on June 30th, including Matty Blair, Devante Cole, James Coppinger and Kieran Sadlier. Though he would typically have made his decision on whether to offer new deals at this stage, he believes the implications of the current situation mean that is impossible. With no decision yet taken on the fate of the 2019-2020 season or what next season could begin and under what circumstances, Moore says there will be no clear picture of what his playing budget will be. Now, he has said to the Free Press, once we know what is happening next, it would ultimately be the next thing to do to have meetings in any scenario and discuss what we are as a club. We need to discuss this with Gavin Baldwin, of course, who's the CEO, the chairman and the board of directors, and how they would decide things going forward. Only after that we can make plans off that, and at this stage it's just more speculating. We need to wait on the government, and if we're going to be allowed to come back, if we are, then it's all about getting the players back up and ready to go. At the moment it looks highly unlikely, but I'm trying to keep myself in a neutral zone in terms of waiting to see what is happening. Now, Rovers offered a new deal to Kieran Sadlier before the turn of the year, but he's yet to sign. Moore insists there can be little change in the current circumstances and believes it will be a period of uncertainty for players across the game seeking contracts. It's another situation, in brackets Sadlier, where it's all unknown. When it comes to contracts at this stage, clubs don't know whether they're going to be in a position to match offers, up them, or anything. Who knows the financial bite of this? It's so difficult to know where any of us are going to be. Now, that statement, that ending line, alarms me. Now, I'll tell you why it alarms me. It alarms me because League One and League Two are on the brink of cancelling the season, and they're pretty much going to, I think the likely option here is they're going to decide the rest of the season points per game. So, for League One, I believe Coventry and Rotherham will be promoted, and if they're not going to do a playoffs and they're just going to do the top three teams, then it'll be Oxford joining them in the Championship. So, Rovers would miss out on the playoffs entirely, but obviously the playoffs won't matter if they're not going to do a playoffs this season. But, you know, how are Rovers going to pick themselves up? How are they going to do that? How are other League One and League Two teams going to pick themselves up? And I bring it back to that argument again. Why are the Premier League and the Championship trying to continue? I tell you why. Because the money is with the Premier League. Now, the Premier League, I'll reference the Premier League a lot in this video, but the Premier League, now, there was reports saying that they could come back in about 3 to 4 weeks' time. Are you mad? 3 to 4 weeks is nowhere near enough ready for the start of a season. If I was deciding what to do, I'd be saying cancel the season. Don't relegate anyone. Promote the top 3 teams. I don't care about playoffs anymore. Promote the top 3 teams. Create bigger leagues. Don't relegate anyone and just start again with an even bigger league and an even better season next season. That would be my way forward. That would be my personal way forward. Don't relegate anyone. Give the top 3 promotion, and that way, headaches are solved. Fans may not be happy, but you've got to remember, health's more important than football. I've seen loads of things from the Premier League, and I've seen loads of things online that suggest that footballers are just as important as emergency service workers. I mean, seriously? Seriously? And it's not League One and League Two. We're talking Premier League footballers earning, hundreds of thousands of pounds every week with headphones in their ears, playing Drake or flaming Travis Scott. and just not caring, just getting the paycheck and moving forward. Many Premier League players have actually used their money and their paychecks to support the people on the front line, and that is fantastic. That shows they've got personal ability. But when you've got owners, and I'm going to reference a Premier League owner, Stan Kroenke. There's reports coming out this week that he's lost money, and I mean, if you lose money, obviously it's going to take a huge dent. And you know, Arsenal have apparently come out and saying we're thinking about doing swap deals and, you know, loan deals and loan signings and all that malarkey this summer because we can't afford, we can only buy a player if we sell a player. Hold on a minute. And this is a point that I watched now, if you don't watch AFTV and what you won't know this, but they've got a podcast called the All Guns Blazing Podcast. And DT said if he can't provide the funds to compete, sell up. And I completely agree with that. It's the same with, you know, the goon, Mike Ashley, who cares about nothing but himself and Sports Direct and probably buying the whole of Greggs in the future. You know, he'll be Greggs' bloody owner next year. You know, if you can't provide the funds, if you can't bother to pay for the club's success, then sell up and go. That would be my way forward as a fan of any club. If you can't provide the funds to succeed, pay up and go. You've got to be willing to have an owner that's willing to say, well, okay, so we took a little bit of a dip because of the whole thing. In the summer, we're going to invest, and we're going to go again next season. And the whole thing about the Premier League and, you know, if they don't play the season, they have to pay back the broadcast companies. BS. Absolute BS. Because if the broadcast companies had a heart, they would say, don't worry about paying us back for the games that you didn't play for the season that should be voided. Don't pay us back. We'll provide our own money to support charities and support lower league clubs. You know, don't worry about paying us back for not playing games that we should have broadcast because health is more important. That should be what they should be saying. But I've got a bad feeling that they are the type of people that will go, I don't care if you're not playing games, pay us money. I don't care if you're broke, pay us money. We don't care, we're a broadcast company, we're not a football ownership. That'll be the heartless response. I'm more going towards the heart response, not the heartless response. Back to Doncaster Rovers and player contracts. I'm hoping... Now, one of the things with the Premier League is the fact that they could be allowing players to play for nothing or playing past their contract. I'm hoping that's the case with Cops, with Cole, with Blair, with Sadlier. And those are the 4 players I'm going to focus on. Should they stay or should they go? Cops is a legend. If he's going to retire, retire in front of your fans. Give him one more season. One more. We were so close to the playoffs. We were so close to promotion. We're building an exciting project under Darren Moore. Give us one more season. Give us one more. And I would gladly be at that stadium, the last home game of next season, and I would see Coppinger out in style. I would absolutely see him out in style. Sadlier. Now, Sadlier is the one I'm worried about the most. Kieran Sadlier is the one I'm worried about the most. Because Kieran Sadlier could very well be a championship player next season. There's no question of doubt about that. He could be a championship player. And I worry that we're not going to replace him. Now, obviously, I'm going to put all my worries aside because obviously with the current climate, not being able to afford transfers, that's fine. But I'm really hoping that Sadlier signs a new deal. As far as I'm concerned, he's happy at Rovers. He's well happy. But, you know, if he gets offered a higher amount of money that we can't match or overcome, then we can't compete with that. You know, and we need to be in higher leagues to compete with that. So, you know, for Doncaster Rovers to get promoted to the next stage, it's all about heart, it's about desire, it's about fight, it's about passion. Darren Moore's starting to deliver that. Bit shaky at the back, not going to lie. I've said numerous times that we've been a bit shaky playing out from the back sometimes, but it shows that we're thinking like a bigger club. If we're doing a style of football that plays out from the back, yes, it might be dodgy, you know, look at Arsenal sometimes when they play out from the back under Unai Emery. They haven't got the players to do that. We're trying to build a squad that could be capable of playing out from the back and forward. Now, Devante Cole, he's been with us a couple of months, hasn't quite made the impact that I would have liked. You know, it was a new player in January, so you're not going to give him, you know, the harshest criticism in the world because he's only been playing for a couple of months. So, you know, you don't want to make a rash decision too quickly. It's hard settling in, but hopefully over this rest period, even though it's hard coming back after like a 70-odd day break, that's longer than a pre-season break, hopefully Devante Cole gets back in his element and Cole scores goals. But hopefully he can stay, you know, grounded and stay focused and, you know, get into his element next season. So I'm hoping he signs a new deal. Matty Blair has been at the club for a couple of years now, a good few years now. Do I think he should stay? I really hope he does. You know, if we do plan on selling him, you know, sell him for money. Don't let any player go for free. Unless we've got no other choice. But I would sign up Blair. I'd give him a couple more years, you know, past his prime, and then sort of as he declines as a player, you know, we start, you know, we still play him in games, of course, but he's sort of as he's getting older, and if he sort of declines as a player, he's still living out the League One dream then, isn't he? And then when he's ready to move on, if he's not getting the game time or he feels like he's ready to move on to end his career, then, you know, let him go to a worse, well, not a worse club, but a lower league club in League Two or the Conference, National League, that kind of thing, if he wants to move there in the future. But I would sign him up. I think he's a good value to our squad still. So even at this stage, I think he's a good value to our squad. So I would, you know, keep him. I'd keep him for the next few years. So there we go, guys. So that is this update on Doncaster Rovers contract situations. My name is the CHALL. Please like, comment, subscribe. Goodbye.